Hi friends, in our time together today we're going to explore some additional ways to use the slide ornament, also called bending a note by some. This is a really good and useful emotive ornament. Sometimes beginner and intermediate players are scared off of trying new things because it feels like it might be difficult. Well, a lot of these things aren't as difficult as you think, and I think you'll find that with the enhancements to the slide ornament that I'm going to share today. A slide, if you remember, is basically when you're playing one note, like an F sharp, and you gradually move, you release your finger and move up to another one. And you hear that gentle movement of the note from one to another. You're sliding. And you can tell why some people call that bending a note. And it's a fairly easy ornament. And I use it tons of times. But I've got 3 additional ways to use this ornament that are just a lot of fun. So the first one is, notice the demonstration. The normal way to play a slide is just by releasing one finger. What about raising more than one finger at once? Instead of, you could, let's go from the E to the G, just lift them simultaneously. And you feel that same movement. It's not a long movement. You could do it as fast as you want. Sometimes I do it fast, sometimes slow. In the tune for Ireland, I won't speak her name, there's a phrase that goes, and I like to slide from that E to the G, but use both fingers. See, I slid pretty quickly, but it's in there, and it's kind of fun. You could use 3 fingers. You could slide with 3 fingers if you want. Now, that's the first alternate way. Don't feel like you're married to 1-finger slides. 2 fingers, 3 fingers. Each one has a slightly different mood to it. And I'm not adding this as a different way, but change the speed at which you're doing it is kind of fun too. So the second option is when you actually simply bend a note, often a held note, but maybe a transition. So what I mean by that is probably best demonstrated. There's a phrase in Inisheer that runs and you're tempted to, tap that or cut it. But one of those B's that you're playing, you could slightly bend down toward the A and away without ever touching the A. Let me show you what I mean. You see, you're just leaning your finger slightly in, minimally covering the hole, and then coming away. Don't cover it completely. It's a really fun effect, and I think you'll like that one as well. Now, the third one is a blast, and this is the one you'll probably have to work on a little. The third option, like I said, it's probably going to take a little more practice. And that's fine. It's not a problem at all. What you're doing, instead of like doing a slide with 1 finger or 2 or 3 fingers simultaneously, or instead of just bending down and away from a note without actually hitting it, what you're doing this time is you're sliding from a lower note across more than 1 note, and you're gradually releasing the fingers so that you're not really stopping on any of those notes as you go. Probably in my mind, the most famous piece of music where we hear this is on the opening clarinet solo to Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. Let me see if this gets captured on my video. I've got it queued up here. That's great. I hope that came through. What happens is the clarinet player starts off with a trill and then starts running all the way up pretty quickly 2 octaves. But instead of running all the way up, the last 4 or 5 notes just become this blur of movement across the notes. And it's brilliant. Pull up Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue and listen to that yourself some. Now, I hadn't really thought about doing that myself. I would give it a go on a clarinet or saxophone, and I've tried it out, but I hadn't thought about doing it on my whistle. But our friend Jonathan, hi Jonathan, sent me a sound clip where he did just that as part of O'Keeffe's slide, and I'll play that for you in a moment. And yes, I did just use Jonathan and Gershwin in the same thought. So Jonathan, whoo, home run, my friend. So O'Keeffe's slide in the B part starts off and goes. Okay, you get that? So what Jonathan did was he took that from the D, he hit the D, and then starting from the E, blended up to the A. So you're gradually releasing each finger in a way where you don't land on any of the notes. I know that sounds crazy. You could do it. Let me demonstrate that for you. Okay, see, I just started on the E, lift that finger off, and before I finish lifting the finger off that covers the E, I begin lifting the finger off that covers the F sharp. Before I finish that, I begin lifting the finger off that covers the G. Now, the only challenge with it is getting the sequence right. Otherwise, it sounds like you're going. So you really just want to go. It's a lot of fun. Try it out. See how that works for you. Jonathan, thanks for sending me that sound clip. It's a lot of fun. Again, even if you're a beginner, don't let these things scare you off, because these are all skills we need to develop at some point. So go ahead and start now. So we've considered the basic slide. We've considered playing the same thing by lifting multiple fingers. We've considered bending a note without actually hitting the note, and I think that one's a lot of fun. I like that one. And then there is the one I just demonstrated where you're moving over multiple notes. Now, I haven't figured out how to do that, moving from the lower octave to the upper octave. When you figure that out, then you're the home run king. So experiment with these. Try them out. They are ways to emote a tune. It's not limited to slow tunes. You could do this in a fast tune. Use any of them. Don't overdo it. Like all the other ornaments, don't overdo it. But use them because they are great. Once we get really into playing our whistles, we're finding that there are more and more and more incredible ways to express the joy, the delight, the emotion of each of the tunes we play. So these different ways to use a slide are another excellent tool in our arsenals. Until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling.